So greetings, Career Circle here, and we're going to be talking today about the rule of thirds. We're looking at composition, framing our subject. The rule of thirds can help us do that, and it's based on the principle that the eye is attracted to where there's intersections. So when you look at a photograph or you're watching a video, where there's things that are intersecting is where your eye is drawn towards versus where there's something that's not at an intersection. Let me go ahead and demonstrate this for you. So in the image we're looking at, we see a cabin in the woods where a lot of snow, and we see these lines. And these lines create the thirds. You have the left, the center, the right, the bottom, the middle, the top. And then where they intersect, right, or you see those little circles that are drawn there. Where they intersect, those are where we want to put our subjects. So let me show you a couple of samples here. So in this image, we see our subject is right in the center of the center, and maybe that's how we've been shooting. Are there times when you need to do that? Yeah. Do you break the rule of thirds on occasion? Of course. Especially when you're shooting film, because you have a lot of movement, and there be maybe moments where someone's not exactly in an intersection. But for the most part, again, it's a rule that you try to follow. So what we have here, I'm going to do this as best I can. We have a quadrant here and a quadrant here, and then we have right about here a quadrant and another one here. And then if we were to look at where they intersect, this is where we want to draw our attention of our audience, is one of these points. And so I would place this subject's face or eyes, probably I would have moved the camera over and placed it right where that intersects, just a light shift. Your subject can shift, or it's easier for you to shift over. You can even see now here where I'm filming, I'm where it intersects right here, and I have all this area here that's available, and that's where I'm popping my images. So you can see here where I've drawn a circle around our subject's eyes, and I've kind of pointed where the intersection is. Are there eyes on the intersection? Are we really trying to focus on the corner of his face or the side of his face, or on the eye? So could this have been shifted a little bit more? Perhaps. Is it close enough? Yes. Does it have to be precise, exact every time, right on the intersection? No. We're talking about this general area. So this is where you want to kind of broaden your targets in these broader general areas. Get your subjects there as close as you can. Let's look at some footage of some video I shot and find some samples there. So we're going to watch a little bit of footage I've shot. I'm going to pause it probably one time and just draw out a little illustration for you, but you can probably see right away the use of the rule of thirds. And it's something that you just become so used to doing it, you'll eventually turn your grids off on your cameras because it'll just be kind of something you naturally set up. I am going to pause the video here in just a moment. You can see the subject I'm interviewing here is clearly along a plane. Will his face and eyes be exactly on that other intersection? It's going to be right there, of course, in that ballpark if you were to draw that out. But what I generally try to do is I don't have my subjects move to get into my rule of thirds frame, so to say. I have them situated and I move my cameras if it's something where they're in movement or it's live. Here this is a shot that has been set up. This is my typical interview shot. So you can see here right down the center, I have my one line there, and then right about here, I have my other, and you can see that I'm kind of right there on the intersection, focusing on the subject's eyes. And then I have all this room over here that is open, and it still serves a purpose. It's not that that space is just a waste. If I were to, let's say, for example, clear this really quick and show you that what I really have done here is I have kind of focused also not just on the subject, which we have our subject, but really, what's interesting is it's inviting. There's this door that is right here. And if you look at our intersection, or right here, this line that comes up, I'm balancing it with that door. So the rule of thirds can help. We talk about composition and framing. You talk about bounce of things in your shot, and that door over there is going to kind of help kind of balance the shot out versus it just being a blank wall or something else. And then of course in between the door and the subject is the actual classroom, and your eye just gets pulled in there. And so subjectively you have a teacher that's with a door inviting you into her classroom. That's kind of what I'm trying to do with the framing of the shot. So you got to kind of think of the message you want to send that is truly visual, and then the message, the read between the lines, so to say, messages that you're trying to communicate with the way you're framing, because we could have set this shot up anywhere. And the fact that her wall opens up into her classroom, there's a door there, and she's there, and you can see there's the monitor and her desk. It just kind of pulls you into you wanting to be a student in that particular classroom. That's what I was trying to go for. So that may be a little too much information for you, but when you start shooting, if you're a filmmaker, you take these things seriously. So what I want you to do is go ahead and drop everything, grab your camera, and start shooting photos, start shooting video, and use the rule of thirds. And also think of composition, and think about everything that's in your shot, and everything that's in your shot should have a purpose. The door in my shot isn't just a door that's there, it had a purpose. The openness, the area between my subject and that door, the classroom was specifically put there because, again, I want your eyes to be drawn into the classroom. That's kind of the goal. So when you're shooting and you're framing, start thinking a little bit differently about what's in your shot, why is it in there, and can you move yourself around, and not necessarily your subject move around, to get them into those intersections using the rule of thirds.